So if I start with a job sheet, I have a job sheet here. It's booked in for an MOT. It's got a group that was automatically created when I built this job sheet up. It added a service package, and that in turn created a group and grouped the service package for me. So we have a vehicle inspection for this that the technician will fill out. I'll do it as a service advisor in this example. So we will assume that most of this is green. Test brake fluid, we're going to say that's red, and we're going to look up a text template. This is what your technician would do. And the technician is presented with this filtered list. So we're being quite concise with our list of text templates offered to the technician. So we're going to say this has no brake fluid history. The rest of this is all pretty good. Green, 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 green. Okay, we'll say it needs wheel alignment. So again, look up a text template. And we're going to say that it's wearing on the inner edge. And green, 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 green. No. So with the brake fluid change, I'm going to add a picture. So I'm going to have to upload a picture, but a technician will take a picture. So we can now see that this line has a picture associated with it because we've got the little camera symbol. We're also going to say that the front brakes are worn out. So we'll choose a text template. We'll say they are 1.5 mil. And likewise, I will add a picture. Like that. And then, of course, the technician would complete it, and the service advisor would come in at this stage. So the service advisor would scan over it, check what's needed. A question was asked in this morning's webinar. Can service advisors, add to this? And they can, absolutely. So whilst it's in this state and the service advisor is confirming it, if the technician has perhaps free typed something in and the service advisor is aware that there is a template the technician should have used, they can just click and do the same as the technician. We'll confirm it. We're asked, as always, would we like to create a vehicle inspection estimate? So yes, we would. Okay. So what we're faced with now is a blank vehicle inspection estimate. So if I go to functions, now you may not see this. So if you are in group items, it might be closed on your system. So click to open the fast tab. If you've only got manage, click on more options and you'll get these extra options. So we're under functions and we're going to hit add checklist attention lines. What that's done is that has looked at this checklist, and where, obviously this is dependent on setup, but what we've said is where not green, then it's attention. So where these reds are that we selected, it's created the three groups. So we've got brake fluid change, carry out wheel alignment, and visual inspection of front braking system. So if any of you are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that brake fluid change and carry out wheel alignment aren't actually something that was ticked. We've got test brake fluid and check history, and we've said there's no history. And we've got, it's down a bit, front tyres are wearing on the edge. And then we've got visual inspection of front braking system. So what the system's actually done here, and this is through setup, is that we've said when this attention line is added, then what we need to repair this error is this service package. So instead of now, we've taken that bit of work away from the service advisor, they don't now need to update this group with a service package. We've just added the appropriate service package in the first place. So this one is fine. It's done, priced up, brake fluid change. It's a fixed price product we offer. That's sorted. Wheel alignment, again, same thing, just done. This one here, though, we need to price that up. because we don't know what it is. So we can see the lines here, we've got brake fluid change added, and we've got the wheel alignment. So what we might do now is go to lookup at the top, and we could look up a service package if we've got a service package but haven't mapped it to that text. But what I'll do is I'll use repair times. So we'll go to brakes and foot brakes, and it says half an hour for pads, so we'll call it an hour. Oops, 1 hour, not 7. Include that, add it to the document. Okay, so now we've got the labour line and the parts, so I just need to put a cost price in, say 45 quid. And that's that last group priced up. So I'm now ready to go. I could publish this to the customer. But before doing that, I'm going to show you some more features. So whilst we're in the group section here, under lookup, we have these 3 options. So what we're saying here is look up this group. We can add a service package. That's obviously the Autodata's service schedule. And then you've got Autodata repair times. So what these will do is rewrite this group, or add lines or change the group depending on whether you're using a service package or adding repair times. Under functions, we've got some options here. So this group here is for renewing the front brake pads. So I'll actually rename this group because visual inspection of front braking system came from the checklist and it doesn't make sense to the customer. So we'll do renew front brakes. Good. And then what I'll do is I'll duplicate the group using this action here. And I'll change Pagid to Brembo. And on the right hand side here, where this column is alternative for, I'll select that and I'll say that the Brembos are alternative for the Pagid. Okay. When I duplicated that group, it added an extra set of lines to the job sheet. So I'll need to just update. The labour will be the same, but the parts are going to be £65 instead of 45. Oh. Okay. Then we've got merge groups, which is obviously the reversal of that. If you end up with 2 groups on the system that you don't need 2 of because they're going to be rectified with 1 action, then you can merge the groups together. The create service package version is not strictly a customer authorization feature, but it lends itself quite well. If you've got, like in this example, I've used Autodata to produce a group for me because I didn't previously have a group created, service package created. So you might say, spend a bit of time on Autodata working out the repair times for a timing belt and think, well, I'm going to save this information for next time I get this vehicle in because it's quite common. If you click on create service package version here, then it will ask me which service package I would like to add this version to. So I'll just put it on one tyre for argument's sake. And you can see it's added the version there, just as simple as that. So it's there for next time. So that's a useful feature. And of course, the checklist lines we covered before. So you've seen that these groups are auto-created and they're very easy to reword, just click and change. They have an extended description. Now the extended description as it stands today comes from, in the first instance, it will be the text that's come from the technician on the line. But if when we add the line to the groups, if we're replacing it with a service package, we'll then replace the text with the text that exists in the service package, if there is text in the service package. Then we have an action category. So these action categories denote, and we'll see this shortly, where they live on the online document. So, for argument's sake, the brake fluid change, I would advise that that's done. Whereas the wheel alignment, again, I'll advise that, to be honest. But the Pagids, I will set the brakes. I will set as a required, or perhaps even an MOT failure type of action category, and I will, because they're 1.6 mil, I'll actually mark them down as a dangerous failure by ticking dangerous here. We've only got one alternative. It's quite easy to, if I wanted to add more alternatives, you just click here and you're just basically connecting the packages together. Customer authorized, that's the same as you should all be used to. It's just moved from the lines because you don't authorize an individual line now, you authorize a group which contains lines. You can set a reminder date. If somebody doesn't have a certain group done, then, sorry. If somebody doesn't have a certain group done, then you can set a reminder date, and of course that works the same way it always has, whereas it will pop back up in your tiles for reminders on the homepage. Line count is, I like to use it as a sanity check because of course there shouldn't be a group without any lines in it. So I've got 3 lines in brake fluid change and 2 lines in my brakes. It all makes sense to me. Then the media count one is the picture. So we know that the technician took a picture for the brake fluid change. If I click there, I can see what it is. So that was the brake fluid reservoir. And if I click on the brakes, then I get a picture of the brakes. And because we duplicated this group, it's using the same picture for the other group too. Okay.
Reece, just a quick one on that. I don't know if people know. So you know the media account, we can, if you've got like a wheel alignment printout and you save it as a JPEG, you can update that as a photo.
Exactly.
So we do, yeah.
This wheel alignment one here, say, like in Sean's example, say he has actually got a PDF saved of the wheel alignment check. You would click on the media account here, and you can upload a picture like that, and choose one and just upload one, but it will be like that. Okay. So that's how that feature works. Right, so this is now built and we are ready to send it off to the customer. So we're going to print send at the top and we will publish the online document. So it's now warning me, what would I like to display on the online job authorization? Would I like to display the authorized and non-authorized work on this job, on this document, and on the job sheet? Because we've got a connected job sheet with 5485 on it because it's in for an MOT. Or if I chose to, I could just submit the unauthorized work from this document. But I'll do the lot. So on this page, we've got a couple of options. So we've got internal preview, which is what you should do in the first instance, so you can see what you're going to send your customer, or publish to customer, which we'll do afterwards. And while it's on internal preview, most of these options aren't editable because they are to do with the customer communication, which we're not doing at this point. But what we can edit is the intro text. So if I click on the intro text, it opens up. I can just click and free type, or I can add a template if they were created. I've also got a list of 12 field tags at the moment that you can use. So customer name, customer address, etc., etc. If you wanted to use that field tags to populate a very personal intro text to a customer. And for this example, we're going to offer a finance plan. And this is the template we're going to use. In this system, there is only one template called Payment Assist, but if you use multiple finance companies, you'd have multiple templates because they have different terms and conditions. Okay, so we click OK, and that will take a couple of seconds. It's going to upload those images to the server so that they can be used here. And this is what the customer will see. So picture of the car first, for your authorization. This is the header text that we have the opportunity to edit on the page before. And then these are the action categories that exist. So we can see here that required, We got renew front brake pads pagid. There are alternatives. There is a picture, and it's dangerous because that's what these symbols mean. And we can see more. So if we click see more, we get the pictures, we get the text, and we can clearly see the alternative there. So we have a choice of 150 quid or 126. They can't pick both because they're alternatives for each other. They toggle on and off. Then we've got advised. So we advise a brake fluid change. Again, we can see there's a picture, or if we open it up, we can actually see the picture. If you click on the picture, it opens it in full screen. And the wheel alignment, just the same. There's a gallery at the bottom that shows all the pictures that exist across all the groups, and some footer text. Then we've got the booked and authorised work. So this is what's on the job sheet already. We can't unauthorize that because it was already authorised at 9 o'clock this morning. So they can't now decide they don't want the MOT because it's already been done. And the satisfactory work, this is everything off the checklist that was not amber or red. So they can just see what was done there. So I'm happy with this. It all looks, all the wording is right. Pictures are in the right place. So I'm happy that we can publish this to the customer. So I will now go back to the job sheet and go print send, publish online document. I'm going to do the same thing and publish both this document and the job sheet so the customer's aware of the full price. Click OK. I'm going to change it here now to publish to customer. And that has given me more flexibility now because we're talking about actually sending this to the customer. So by default, we're sending this by SMS and email. In this example, I'll just do email. So I can edit the email address if needs be here. I can edit the email text. So by default, it just says, please follow this link. I can add a template or free type if I want to be a bit more personal. If I was sending by text message, then I could change the mobile phone number, and also I could change the text message text just the same as I can with email. If you've previously changed the intro text when you previewed it, then that would save. So you would, for this document. So once you got to this stage, you wouldn't have to redo what you'd previously done. And of course, if you want to just change the finance plan, you can do that here. So if I send that now, I will get an email shortly. At the bottom of the inspection estimate, and it's not just the bottom of the inspection estimate, at the bottom of job sheets and checklists and inspection estimates and estimates, you will find an online document tab. It's probably minimized by default unless you've been playing with it already, so you'll need to click on it to open it up. And that will show you a number of things. So the number of archive versions for this document is 2. We'll drill into that in a second. The last status was live. It expires in about 24 hours. The time published was 13:58, and it's not been opened yet, and so therefore it wasn't last opened either, and it's not been approved, and the customer's never requested a callback. So hence all of those columns empty there. Look. So if I drill into these 2 archive versions, we can see what they consist of. So we have version number 1 here, which was created by me at 13:55, and it was a draft. A draft means that it was an internal view of it. So if you view it 4 or 5 times, you'll end up with 5 or 6 archived documents. And you can review it internally as many times as you like. This live document was sent to a customer, which is why it's categorized as live. If I clicked on any of these, so if I click on, say, this one here, it will show me a archived version of the document. So I now can't edit this. This is what was viewed or was sent. Same applies for, so if the customer says, oh, that's not what you sent me, this is what we sent, because it's fixed in time at this point. The live document is still open and you can still go and edit that, but this is what was sent at the time. Okay, so if we go back now to the home page. No, I don't want to go to the home page. What I want to do, sorry. I want to open this. So, this is the live document that's come to the customer. So I'm going to say that I'll have the more expensive Brembo brakes. I'll have everything on this page because I want all that done because I'm good like that. I'd like a callback just because I want to show you how the button works. So I've clicked that button. And also I'm going to spread the cost. And that's because we have that finance plan on. So if I just scooch out of the way a little bit here. So you see at the bottom of the page there, you've got spread the cost. So it's 78 quid and then 3 more payments. That's how Payment Assist structures that. Okay, so then I'll click next. And the customer is now presented with this summary page. This is just a reaffirmment of what they've selected. So we're now saying to the customer, right, below is a summary of the work that you've either already authorised or you have additionally selected on the previous page, and review it before finally approving it. So we're saying that it's going to be £312.85 and they're going to spread the cost over £78 a month, basically. And then in the bottom corner here, there's approve. So we click approve. And we get a very pleasant sort of thank you, high five, job's done. Okay. So what we've got now is in the comments attention tile on the home page, we've got 2 comments. You wouldn't normally get 2 comments, but obviously I've clicked every button during this demo. So the top comment is the customer's requested a callback concerning the online job authorization. And the bottom comment is to say that the customer has approved the work on the online job authorization. So I can open that vehicle inspection estimate by clicking on the VIE number here. And I can remove these from that tile by clicking the remove attention mark action at the top. I'll remove them later, but let's just go and look at the inspection. If we scroll to the bottom now, we can see that the status has changed from live to approved. There's, of course, statuses like opened, if they've been opened and not approved. So we can see when it was opened and the last time it was opened. So you can see if a customer is going in it a few times. You can see what time it was approved, and you can see what time the customer requested the callback. When they push that callback button and it grays it out for 30 minutes. So customers can't just keep smashing it and requesting a callback constantly. It's every 30 minutes it will liven back up again. Okay. So what we've got now is, as you can see, the customer authorised boxes have been ticked for the work that they did approve here. And they didn't approve the Pagid, they went with the Brembos, if you remember. So we would then go to process and copy authorised lines to job sheet, just like we previously would have. Would be asked which job sheet, assuming there might be more than one. And then that works the same as you'd expect it to work, how it's always worked. So put that back on. It's now all customer authorised, and we've got the same pictures are still linked in the job sheet here on the right hand side. Line counts are added, etc., etc. Okay, that's a quick overview of that feature. I'm going to show you now some of the setup that you don't have to do, but if you spend some time slowly working on this, and I suppose I can liken it to, I've set a lot of people up with online booking since that was a thing. And I always say to people, don't try and get it perfect, because you won't for a long time. And I've had some customers that, don't want to put online booking on their website until it's perfect. And the fact is, it'll just take you months and months and months, and you'll never be happy with how it can go out. So you can just start using it with some basic, start using it for certain circumstances, basic setup, and then every day, every week, a little bit more, a little bit of change, a little bit of learning, a little bit of addition, and the feature will just get better and better and better. I really wouldn't bog myself down with trying to do everything I'm showing you now tonight. So One of the most important things I would say is we had this, as I demonstrated, when I clicked the button here, add checklist attention lines, instead of adding this line for wheel alignment, it added a carry out wheel alignment service package instead. And if you weren't familiar, that was coupled with the fact that when I click on this button here, which I can't do now, I was given a list of predefined answers to the question of the what's the wheel alignment like. So if I search for checklist text, so we have checklist text templates. A nice feature of this is, just to explain the logic here, is that the code for the text is prefixed. So here is all the tyre codes, and they all start TY. TY-1.6, TY-1, and then they have the actual text. And that is, I would count, if you're going to add or amend or create your own, then I would strongly recommend that you follow the same principle. You could just do 1, 2, 3 if you wanted, or you could prefix TY for tyres or BR for brakes, etc. But do something, and you'll understand why shortly. If I click Edit List at the top of the page here, we've got a column on the right-hand side called Service Package Filter. So this is where we denote. So we're saying when this wheel alignment would be beneficial to increase the longevity, etc., text is used, then apply this package. When this text is used, apply that package, and so on and so forth. So you can imagine it's quite a lengthy process, but start with simple things like brakes and wheel alignment and aircon, and work your way up to getting it all done, unless you've got the time to sit there and literally do it all in one go. So adding the service package here that goes with this text will help you create those vehicle inspection estimates much quicker by just clicking that button. Okay, if we search for checklists, checklist templates, these are all the templates in my system. We were using a VHC. So if I click here, this VHC consists of 6 groups of questions. So if I click on the 6, these are the groups of questions. This group here has 48 lines of questions. So if I open the 48, then I can see what's going on. And what we've got here, this is the important column, text template code. So what we're saying is, we can only apply a text template code to a text box because obviously you can't add text to buttons. So these are just the red, yellow, greens, and then text box. And then you've got question, red, yellow, green, text box. Yeah. So we're saying when the technician clicks on this text box, offer him text template codes that start with serve, because we've put serve star. And this one is offering anything that's TB onwards. So this is why that prefix is a great way of organising those text templates. Okay, that's that. Then we've got service packages. You should all know about service packages, but just to go over this a little bit with you, we have a service package header, and service packages have a list of service package versions, which are this list at the bottom. So we can use, in this main description here in this package is the package header, which means that when we use this package, when we use a version from this package, we are going to use the header information. So this is the text we'll display, and this is the extended text we will display. We could change the settings to package version, which means that this is the text we display, and there is a column missing here which you can add to personalization for extended description, and then you would use the version specific extended description. Now that setup is dependent on what kind of service package and what kind of versions reside within it. But I'd imagine Lindley, I haven't checked Lindley's in a long time, but I'd imagine they have a mixture of the two depending on what exactly it is. So that explains that. there is online booking extended descriptions, and that's there for a specific purpose, because if you imagine online booking, it's unsolicited, the customer's going there, and what you want the customer to see is a sales pitch. Why should I buy this? Whereas the extended description for the package is more about, this is what we've done and why, after the fact. So that's those. Now, if we go back to that job. So if I print this, most people use something like this as a print layout, where you are grouping your items and labours separately, and some are hiding and some are not hiding the quantities and costs, but that's what I commonly see is used. And that's fine, you can carry on using that, no problem. But my favourite print layout, which no one used previously because no one was grouping, because it was a bit laborious in the old method, but now with most things auto-grouping and the way of creating groups very easy, I just want to remind everyone that we have a custom grouping option. So if I go custom grouping and preview that, then we have a print layout which actually groups the work into groups. So it just makes it, in my opinion, makes it a bit easier for the customer to understand what they've paid for which bit of work, especially if it becomes a large job. So that's custom grouping invoice layout. And that's it. There's obviously a lot more. But I will just show you something about groups as well, quickly. So if I want to add lines to a group. So let's say that I need, for these pads, that I need a wear sensor. I can throw an extra item on. MISC sensor. One of 12 quid. Now the group is blank here in this line because it's not in a group. So I could click here and add it to the Brembo. Or I could add, let's add a labour. I could perhaps create a group by clicking in the groups up here. So I'm going to go group 1. And then I could click on the line count. And then I can add this line into group 1 by ticking it. Or let's say I use look up repair times. And I'm going to do, let's stick with brakes because it's nice and simple. For brakes. Where is it? Disc and pads. Front disc and pads. 1.2. That has created the group for me automatically from that feature. Or one last way, if I did it completely manually, so we have a labour, and that's going to be called renew exhaust. We'll have an item. Then I can select both of these lines. I would probably only do this if it was more than 2 lines. If I spent some time building like a 10-line custom job, I can go to functions at the top here and create group item. And what that will do is create a group using the first line as the description. So renew exhaust has been used, and then group all the rest of the lines into that group for me. So there's lots of ways to very quickly add groups, and I suppose it's going to become personal preference on how you load a job sheet as to which route you will use. But almost every action that adds lines to a job sheet will now auto group anyway. So some of you, well, all of you should have noticed that happening. So that's an overview of the product and the features. If you've watched this all the way through, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time. And if you've got any questions or comments, please contact a member of the team via the usual channels.